Hello everybody and welcome to Lightning Wing Productions. My name is Lightning and today I'll be your guide into the world of gaming. Today, I'm an idiot because I did a whole reaction video and forgot to hit record. I'm stupid. Oh well, I'll just re-react to it. The reactions are still fresh. Today I'm going to be reacting to Screw Attack's death battle between Crash and Spyro. The reason why I'm reacting to this video is because I feel like I need to. I am a massive fan of Spyro the Dragon, or at least a massive fan of a certain version of Spyro. Sorry, it's raining outside and I got weird lighting right now. So, I am going to be reacting to this and commenting on whenever Screw Attack or Whiz and Boomstick get something wrong with at least Spyro. Crash is a bit different. So, without further ado, let's react to this now that we're recording. Where's the reaction thing? Ah, here we go. Looks like something out of Suicide Squad.
The early 1990s played host to one of the biggest battlegrounds the world had ever seen. The Console Wars.
Nintendo and Sega's mascots were locked in a merciless duel over the gaming throne.
But when the smoke cleared, a surprise third challenger was rising to the top.
The Sony PlayStation. And it didn't have just one mascot, it had two.
Hey! Fun fact. The reason why Sony actually made their own console is because they were originally going to work on something with Nintendo. They were going to partner up to do something, but then Sony realized, hey, we can make our own console, and then the PlayStation was born. Now let's continue.
Crash Bandicoot, the mutated marsupial from Down Under.
And Spyro the Dragon, the powerful purple hero of the Dragon Realm. He's Whiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Listen, I admire another brilliant doctor of science as much as the next guy, especially those with grand plans to take over the world.
I missed that show.
But I'm not sure Dr. Neo Cortex makes the cut.
Why not? He's an evil genius who made a mutant Aussie army of animals to take over the world.
There should have been a Crash Bandicoot cartoon. There really should have.
Sure, but when it came time to assign a general for this army, Cortex chose, of all things, a bandicoot.
A band of what? You're making that up.
It's a real animal. Look.
Oh, hey, it's kinda cute. How's
I wanna
that
pet
little
it.
thing gonna take over the world?
With the Evolvo Ray, Cortex did successfully mutate it into a powerful beast. However, when he tried to brainwash the creature, he utterly failed to create his fearsome general. Instead, he got Crash Bandicoot.
So Cortex threw him out like trash, and Crash became his worst nemesis ever, which is super embarrassing.
Just for the record, Crash did not get thrown out. He escaped. You could see it in both the original Crash Bandicoot 1 and the remastered version of Crash Bandicoot 1. He did not get thrown out, he escaped. He actually ran straight out the window and Wile E. Coyote'd onto the beach.
As this Banda Crash is a few snags short of a Barbie, but his physical abilities make up for it. He's got parkour skills like nobody's business.
Which is appropriate, as bandicoots are excellent jumpers, similar to their marsupial cousin, the kangaroo.
He's got superhuman strength and can take a big hit and just keep on going, like an Energizer Bunny of pain.
Crash can double jump in midair, slide incredible distances, and use Crash Dash to boost his speed.
He's also tapped into Mojo, a magic substance that's basically life energy, to enhance his battle techniques. He's got his Norris Roundhouse and Triple Dragon, but his favorite move is the Cyclone Spin.
He can even give this move a boost for the Death Tornado technique, though this can leave him dizzy and prone to counterattacks. Still, these brutal moves proved incredibly useful for rescuing his fellow mutant bandicoot girlfriend, Tawna.
Who we never saw after the first game. Seriously, what happened to her?
Oh, why does she look like that? She's like really hot, but also not at the same time? I'm really confused.
While Crash's natural abilities were enough to save her, his future battles with Cortex would require more sophisticated tools.
Yeah, like the Rad Copter Pack. He's even got himself the unicorn of motorsports, the space motorcycle. What I wouldn't give for one of those.
To increase his firepower, he carries a special bazooka that uses a naturally occurring and easily attainable form of ammunition, Wampa fruits.
The same kind of fruit shooter that's on his power loader suit from Aliens. This completely generic-looking mech.
But why fruit?
Everyone
I
ripped
can't
off that
imagine it's a
movie, even
particularly
Conker's Bad
effective
Fur Day.
projectile.
I don't know, Wiz. Remember that time I shot you with my potato gun? You were stuck in a coma for like a month.
Wait, what? You told me I lost that month because my time travel wristwatch finally worked.
Well, where's Crash getting all this cool tech? He can't be building it all himself. He's pretty dumb.
They're all thanks to his kid sister, Coco, who's 10 times the inventor Cortex is. But Crash isn't really dumb, he just lacks communication skills. He actually shows many symptoms of autism. Some people with autism, known as savants, are extraordinarily gifted in particular skill sets.
Okay, I need to stop here because I feel like I should comment on this. I don't know if it's confirmed or not that Crash Bandicoot himself, the character, does have autism. The idea, I am not against it. In fact, I myself have Asperger's, but I don't know how to... It's interesting, but I don't know if it's official or not. It's interesting. I'll say that. It's interesting.
And I think that describes Crash perfectly. While he may not know how to hold a conversation, he is a superb athlete and puzzle solver.
Well, I'm sure it helps that he's
Ripping off
surrounded
Indiana
by
Jones
friends
too, I
who
see.
encourage his better traits.
Hey, that was a good one.
Like Aku Aku, his magical mask foster dad, who's basically a god. Lucky bastard.
Aku Aku's magical mojo prowess is quite impressive. He's very protective of Crash and will often step in when Crash is in trouble. But not always.
Wiz, why can he teleport across dimensions on his own, but can't teleport Crash very far at all?
This is as far as I can take us. We'll have to fight our way to the robot's interior and save your sister.
Well,
Probably because it's convenient for the villains and inconvenient for the gamer.
perhaps his fatherly intuition is kicking in, encouraging Crash to learn from his own mistakes and become his own man, or Bandicoot.
Yeah, maybe he's just being a dick.
Well, thanks to Aku Aku and his own amazing abilities, Crash has performed some incredible feats while stopping Cortex's plans time and time again.
He's strong enough to lift his adopted brother Crunch over his head. Since Crunch is at least twice as big as Crash, that would mean Crash's strength is similar to the world's best powerlifters.
His cyclone attack can
No,
generate enough
no,
force
you
to
can
lift
count that
this
one.
large boulder and throw it so hard
This
it
you can
shatters on
count,
impact. Comparing its size to Crash, that boulder must weigh nearly 8 tons.
He's
That's
also
probably
fast
low,
enough to outrun polar bears, which can move up to 25 miles per hour. But Crash really shines when it comes to durability. Just look at how well he holds up after taking 112 falling wooden crates to the face.
And that's why I don't know if I'll ever play Crash.
Huh. Where do they all come from?
I bet it's Aku Aku's fault. And he's right back up like it didn't even happen. What a champ.
Crash has endured an explosion of 23 crates of TNT all at once, which, given their size, could potentially level a city block.
Whoa!
And with the help of Aku Aku, he even survived a crash landing from outer space.
What the heck is up with his hair?
This vessel
They're
was
ripping off
likely
it.
falling at
They're ripping off anime, that's what.
17,500 miles per hour, similar to the space shuttle's typical re-entry, which means the force of its collision would be equivalent to more than 2 million tons of TNT.
Wait, but why didn't Aku Aku just teleport them to safety?
I can't believe we're okay.
Oh, are you kidding me, Aku? You know what you did.
That wouldn't make for good storytelling, though, would it?
Or didn't do. But what's the saying? Any Crash you can walk away from, right? Plus, given how easy it is for Crash's enemies to lure him into traps, his absurd durability is crucial.
Well, Crash isn't perfect, but with his amazing abilities and a little bit of mojo, he's saved the whole world many times over.
And after years of this, he even finally learned how to speak.
Now let's go home and eat pancakes.
Pancakes!
Wait, that's it?
Okay, when Crash Bandicoot's games changed the art style, that's when they kind of started sucking, in my opinion. Now let's move on to the dragon.
Prophecy tells of a special purple dragon born every 10 generations, destined to be a hero of his age. This was the Legend of Spyro. But when the ancient Dark Master Malefor learned of this, he swore to destroy Spyro before he even hatched.
By the way, there are at least 3 different timelines for Spyro, but we're mainly sticking with the Legend of Spyro version, because he can do pretty much anything the other ones can, and more. Plus, I think they're all the same Spyro reincarnated anyway, since that's what the prophecy says, and look, that's totally Skylands being made at the end of Dawn of the Dragon. Ahem.
Okay, first of all, I need to say this again, because once again I forgot to record before. I am glad that the people at Screw Attack are not lumping all 3 versions of Spyro together for this one. Let me just go to this camera. Alright. I'm glad because when they did that with Sonic and Eggman, I got mad because with Sonic, it's obvious that each different version of Sonic was an alternate universe. Especially Sonic Boom. But I don't think Sonic Boom existed when they did the death battle with Sonic. With Eggman, they flat out lied. They said that Eggman had multiple personality disorder, and that is an actual lie. Here, they're pretty much saying that Spyro is Link. And I guess that can kind of make sense. But I'm not accepting that as accepting that as canon, because that would mean I would have to accept Skylanders, or Shitlanders as I like to call it, and I refuse to accept Shitlanders. But I will say that I am glad they didn't just lump all 3 together into one dragon. I do like the theory, though. I do like the theory that these are alternate timelines, like with Zelda. I do like the idea. It's interesting. And also, let's see. What did Boomstick say again about the end of Dawn of the Dragon? By the way, spoiler alert. Come on.
I think they're all the same Spyro reincarnated anyway, since that's what the prophecy says, and look, that's totally Skylands being made at the end of Dawn of the Dragon.
It is not. That is simply the result of Spyro pulling the world back together again after Malefor tried breaking it apart. That's just the world slowly coming together again. I say that Skylanders should be retconned from anything involving the Legend of Spyro. Okay, moving on.
Ahem. Wild fan theories aside, Spyro was saved from Malefor's wrath by Ignitus, a guardian dragon. He decided to pull a Moses and send Spyro's egg floating down a river to who knows where. Okay, why do so many stories start with people just throwing babies into rivers? That's never a good idea.
Wrong, Wiz! It worked out fine for Spyro. He was found and adopted by a family of dragonflies.
Okay, I gotta stop again, because I think the idea behind the whole baby Moses in the floating carriage thing, I think the idea is that if the person who sends the baby away does get captured, they can't even tell where the baby went because they don't even know. I think that's the concept behind that idea. I don't know. I sent the baby down a river. Good luck finding it. Not even I know. I think that's the idea.
And even without fellow dragons around, Spyro grew up to be a pretty good fighter. He's strong, tough, and makes good use of his horns, tail, and claws.
But not his wings. Not yet. Without a dragon's parentage, Spyro remained mostly grounded during his childhood.
But he got pretty good at using his head. Like the fun way, not the brainy stuff. You do not want to be on the other end of his charge attack.
But one fateful day, everything changed. During a game of hide-and-seek with his quote-unquote brother, Sparks, they got into a bit of monkey business and, in desperation, Spyro unexpectedly breathed fire. This was Spyro's first hint that he was... adopted.
Dun dun dun!
You mean he thought he was an actual dragonfly the whole time? I can think of a few other hints, like, I don't know, anytime he saw his reflection.
This revelation prompted Spyro to go on a journey in search of his true home among other dragons. Oh, and Sparks tagged along to help find treasure and protect his dragon brother from harm.
Not like he needed it. He's the chosen one, bitch! He's got a bunch of awesome dragon powers!
As a purple dragon, Spyro was not limited to just his fire breath. After finding and rescuing 4 great dragon guardians, they each became his teachers in the arts of elemental combat.
Yeah!
Ignitus taught Spyro how to control fire and focus it into huge blasts. Voltaire showed him how to use electric breath to stun enemies and toss them through the air. Cyril taught him to freeze foes solid and fire ice shards. And Parador showed him how to use earth breath to split rocks and roll up into a ball.
Spyro also honed his physical and chi combat with the martial art of Dragon Kata. Oh, and he finally learned how to fly.
About time.
Speaking of which, Spyro learned how to briefly slow down time to improve his reactions.
Okay, I need to stop the video here again because that's kind of wrong. It looks like Spyro's slowing down time, but in the Eternal Night, the way the chronicler describes it, from the way I remember it, is Spyro is able to see things just before they happen. He can't fully predict the future like Shulk can in Xenoblade, but he's not Quicksilver either. He doesn't move so fast that everything else slows down. Everything, including Spyro, slows down, and he's able to see everything slowing down. It's like his brain is working overtime, basically creating a real-life quick-time event for him, so he has enough time to properly react to a situation. Moving on.
Oh, damn! But all of this led to Spyro learning the ultimate element. The convexity breath.
Yeah,
Convexity.
It's ether.
No, stupid, everyone
Convexity.
calls it convexity.
Oh, okay. Purple dragons like Spyro can use a mysterious energy that is essentially the spiritual life force of the universe. While it's never officially named in canon, lead concept artist Jared Polin has gone on record to clarify its name and properties, and he calls it ether.
Yes, but in Dawn of the Dragon, when you collect 3 pieces of a certain set of armor, you unlock the convexity breath. Not the ether breath, the convexity breath. Also, there's a Spyro guy on DeviantArt that was the lead designer for this game! Or concept artist? I gotta find this guy after the video.
Eat that, boomstick.
Don't convex me, Wiz. True fans know I'm right.
Ether is an extremely powerful element which binds the fates of the living and the dead. With ether, Spyro pulls from the 4 elements to create energy which, according to Polin, has power comparable to that of an atom smasher.
Isn't that the thing that shoots an atom around at light speed for all sorts of sciencey stuff?
Yes, they're particle accelerators with a moving photon beam containing 362 megajoules of energy.
Yeah, I said that.
This beam can slice through a human skull in a nanosecond. Just like what happened to Russian scientist Anatoly Bugorsky when he stuck his head in one of them.
Why the hell would he do that? God, being Russian must
Dummy.
be hard.
Bugorsky took a beam less than a molecule thick through the skull, which obliterated all matter in its path in an instant. While he survived, half of his face around the microscopic hole in his head swelled, peeled apart, and was permanently paralyzed, while he experienced the blinding light he described as brighter than 1,000 suns.
Hey, Spyro, what was that about?
I don't really know. I just felt like I had to hit it. And when I did, the power of 1,000 suns surged through my body.
Oh, I
Just
get it.
imagine if that beam was the size of Spyro's super breath. No, wait, you don't need to. We've seen what it's like when he killed the Ape King.
Of course, Spyro's ether powers have other uses as well, such as curing his fellow dragon Cinder of Malfor's corruption.
Is he shooting ghosts at her? What kind of magic were they smoking when they came up with that?
But ether is dependent on a balance between light and dark. Should a purple dragon fall prey to their own anger and hatred, they risk being consumed by dark ether, or nether, transforming into a blackened, rage-filled form.
Spyro's a really nice guy, but as Dark Spyro, he lets loose. He's stronger, faster, and way more violent.
Unfortunately, when Spyro's consumed by dark ether, he cannot return to his old self on his own. But with friends like Sparks and Cinder at his side, he's always found his way back.
Through the power of love. Right, Spyro?
You gotta believe!
With all these powers at his claw tips, Spyro is a force to be reckoned with. He's pretty quick, outracing biplanes that can fly over 159 miles per hour.
He's pushed a gold statue about twice his size, and he's
Hold up. I don't think that statue is actually made of gold. I think it's made out of sandstone. Just throwing that out there.
pretty tough, claiming his scales are impenetrable.
So I'm electricity proof too? I knew my scales were impenetrable, but now this?
A bold claim, but let's look at the facts. Spyro once took a punch from this massive magma golem, which then lost its arm and replaced it with a cathedral tower. This cathedral is very similar in size to St. Stephen's Basilica, a Roman Catholic church in Budapest, Hungary. By taking the height, length, and depth of the basilica and adjusting for empty space, we can estimate the arm's mass to weigh over 400,000 tons.
Question, if you're measuring the arm, why are you measuring the obvious prosthetic instead of the actual magma arm that originally hit him? That just seems like an obvious error.
Assuming a low-end punching speed of 15 miles per hour, that of the average humans, the golem must have hit with at least 1.9 million tons of force.
And after getting all these powers, saving the dragons, and defeating the Dark Master himself, Spyro tapped into Ether one last time to literally pull the exploding planet back together. What? How the hell?
And that's what you saw at the end of Dawn of the Dragon, not Skylanders being made. Okay?
How?
I'd say a mix of the power of love, magic of friendship, and a smidgen of prophetic destiny.
We don't know if he hurt her. We don't know if he hurt her. Just throwing that out there.
Wiz, I want a pet dragon more than anything.
You and me
It's a
both!
sad sight, Sparks. Another noble warrior falls victim to the plague of love. Just look away.
All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
But first, let me tell you about the mascot of good food, Blue Apron.
Okay, there we go.
Weird. What are you doing?
Why are they going with classic Spyro's model?
Sparks! No!
Well, that's one way to kick off a death battle.
All right. You asked for it!
Okay, pause. Why does Aku get to intervene in this death battle? Because he's not an item, he's a person. If Aku is able to intervene, then he should get his own statistics at the beginning of the death battle like Crash and Spyro did. In fact, Cinder should be allowed to join as well at that point. She even has her own 4 individual breaths that are completely unique and separate from Spyro's 4. Okay, continuing. Yes! Fire Fury! And that's just laying out in the open?
Wait a sec, was that a fruit?
Would that even do any real damage to Spyro? It might stun him, but I don't think it would really damage him.
Woohoo! Strike! Where do you keep finding these things?
That's what I want to know. How do you fight while controlling that thing? That's like trying to fight while controlling one of those water jet packs.
I'm done with this!
Just for the record, Spyro doesn't need to turn into Dark Spyro just to use convexity.
Nobody messes with me, pal.
KO!
I don't think Aku Aku's gonna pull Crash from the grave after that.
Spyro had plenty of obvious advantages. His speedy flight let him control the pace of the battle, and his elemental arsenal gave him a much wider variety of attacks than Crash had ever seen in a one-on-one fight. Even with his extraordinary puzzle-solving skills, Crash was simply overwhelmed. But surprisingly, this wasn't nearly as one-sided as it looked on paper.
With the strength to throw an 8-ton boulder, Crash was actually stronger than Spyro, and both of them had survived impacts worth around 2 million tons of force. How convenient! It's almost like they planned this all along.
To be fair, we did have to lowball Spyro's durability against the Golem's punch. However, both of them had shown durability, which far exceeded much of their attack capability.
So even with his gadgets, Crash really didn't have a good way to hurt Spyro very much. But the funny thing is, Spyro didn't have many attacks that could firmly hurt Crash either. They were both just too tough.
Well, until Spyro used the Ether Breath, which could literally break matter apart at an atomic level. Not even Aku Aku could save Crash from a beam that intense.
I guess Crash just couldn't spin this one.
The winner is Spyro the Dragon.
Yeah! Okay, I am thoroughly impressed with this death battle. I came into this fearing I was gonna hate it because I was worried that Screw Attack would do something dumb, like, say, lump all 3 versions of Spyro together into one dragon, because that's technically what they did with Sonic the Hedgehog, and they did the same thing with Dr. Eggman, and they even lied by saying that Eggman suffers from multiple personality disorder, which is not true at all. But thankfully, they didn't do that with Spyro. They instead went with the reincarnation theory and said that Spyro was technically like Link because of the prophecy. And I'll admit, that does make sense. It is an interesting theory, but I cannot accept that, because that would mean accepting Shitlander Spyro. That would mean that I would have to accept Shitlander Spyro as canon to the Legend of Spyro. And I refuse to accept it because it's an obviously painful cash cow. I'm just waiting for that ship to crash and burn. I am also very glad that they decided to go with the legendary Spyro and not with classic or Skylanders. I'm not really against classic Spyro, but he's really way too 90s, and his breath attacks from those games aren't really that powerful. In fact, I believe he had a bubble breath at one point. How is that going to help in a fight? And as far as Skylanders Spyro goes, that version of Spyro can only breathe fire. I'm glad they went with this version of Spyro because it gave me a chance to finally talk about my most favorite video game franchise ever on this channel for the very first time. They did get one thing or two wrong. Like, they definitely goofed up the time thing, I believe. I could be wrong, though. Let's just pull up a quick video from the Eternal Night, just to make sure.
How did that happen?
The purple dragon can wield many abilities that others cannot, including time itself. Learn to master this ability, and you will be able to see things almost before they happen. But use this gift sparingly, only when circumstances demand. Manipulation of time is not to be done without the uttermost care.
Okay, that's how Spyro's extra ability works. If I turn out to be wrong, then that's on me. I had fun watching this video because, like I said, it allowed me to talk about The Legend of Spyro for the first time ever on this channel, and because they did a good job with it. A few things kind of irked me here or there, but we're all kind of nitpicky in one way or another. Thank you all for watching this video. I hope you had a fun time watching me react, because I had a fun time reacting to a good death battle with Spyro. I'm pleased with what Screw Attack has done here. If you liked the video that much, be sure to hit the like button. If you want to say something, leave a comment down below. And if you want to stay tuned for more videos, then be sure to hit the subscribe button. Just make sure you ring that bell too, because if you don't, then YouTube is not going to always notify you when I update with a new video. It's dumb like that. Until next time, until I see you all in the next video, keep gaming, everybody. See ya! Now, where's that DeviantArt cat?